Nobody gave you a rule book when you were born, but you learn the rules anyway. Don't talk about money. Don't show weakness. Don't outshine your siblings. Always have a plan. Never ask for help. Keep the family secrets. These rules were never written down. They were never spoken out loud. And yet, somehow, you absorbed every single one of them. Today we are going to look at the invisible rules your family gave you, and how they might be quietly running your life right now. Visual: an empty dinner table, family portraits on a wall, a rule book that is blank. Cinematic: slightly unsettling stillness. Every family is a system, and every system has rules. Some rules are explicit. Bedtime at 9, no phones at the table. Say please and thank you. These rules were spoken, negotiated, occasionally broken. But beneath those visible rules lives another layer. The unspoken ones. The ones passed down not through words, but through atmosphere, through silence, through what happened when someone dared to break them. These invisible rules are among the most powerful forces shaping your adult life. And most people go their entire lives without knowing they exist. Visual: a family at a table, conversation pausing at a certain topic. Eyes exchanged, a child watching, learning, absorbing. The first category of invisible rules is about emotions, specifically, which ones are allowed. In some families, anger was the only acceptable emotion. Everything else was weakness. In others, sadness was acceptable, but anger was dangerous. In others still, no strong emotion was welcome at all. The family existed in a permanent, polite numbness. The invisible rule might have sounded like, "We don't cry in this family," or "Don't be so dramatic." Or the subtler version: no one ever said anything, but you noticed that emotional expression was consistently met with discomfort, dismissal, or change of subject. So you learned to edit yourself, to feel what was acceptable and suppress what wasn't. As an adult, you may struggle to identify what you're actually feeling, or you may feel certain emotions intensely but have no language for them. Or you may apologize for your feelings before you've even finished expressing them. That is not a personality flaw. That is the rule, still running. Visual: a child beginning to cry, then stopping, composing. A room full of people, everyone fine, everyone composed, everyone slightly disconnected. The performance of okayness. The second category is about success, achievement, and what makes you worthy of love and belonging. In some families, the invisible rule was, you are only as valuable as what you achieve. Grades, trophies, promotions. These were not just accomplishments, they were the currency of belonging. In others, the rule was the opposite. Don't get too big. Don't outshine your siblings. Don't draw too much attention to yourself. Success was celebrated with one hand and quietly punished with the other. And in others, the rule was, work is everything. Rest is laziness. If you are not productive, you have no right to take up space. Whatever the specific rule in your family, the impact is the same. Your sense of worthiness became conditional, tied to performance, contingent on output. And no matter how much you achieve as an adult, there is always a quiet voice that says, still not enough. Because the rule was never about the achievement. The rule was about the worthiness. And that was decided long before you had any accomplishments at all. Visual: a child's drawing on a refrigerator, then another, and another, until the refrigerator is covered. A child still drawing, still showing, still waiting. An adult doing the same with a different kind of work. The third category might be the most powerful. The rules about loyalty, belonging, and what it means to be part of the family. These rules often sound like, we take care of our own. We don't air dirty laundry. We stay together no matter what. We put family first. always, without question, no matter the cost. On the surface, these sound like love, and in many ways, they are. But they can also become a cage. When the invisible rule is, you don't belong if you change, then personal growth becomes an act of betrayal. When the rule is, we don't talk about what really happened, then healing becomes a violation of loyalty. Many people on a healing journey describe the guilt that comes with getting better, with being different from their family of origin, with choosing therapists, boundaries, or belief systems that their families don't recognize. This guilt is not proof that they are doing something wrong. It is proof that they are bumping against the invisible rules. Visual. A bird beginning to fly upward, but a thread is attached. The thread is not visible at first. Then it is. So what do you do with invisible rules you didn't choose? The first step is the hardest and the most essential. You have to see them. Name them. Say out loud, in my family, the rule was blank. Because you cannot question what you cannot see. And you cannot change what you cannot question. The second step is evaluation. Not all family rules are harmful. Some are genuine wisdom. But each rule deserves to be examined as an adult, with the eyes you have now, not the eyes of the child who absorbed it without choice. Ask, does this rule serve me? Does it reflect who I actually want to be? Or is it simply what was repeated automatically because that's what I learned? The third step, and the most tender one, is grieving the permission you never got. Because sometimes, the invisible rule robbed you of something real, the permission to be angry, to be successful, to be different, to be yourself. You may need to grieve that before you can replace it with something true. Visual. A person standing in a room with wallpaper and slowly noticing what the wallpaper pattern actually says. Rules, written in the pattern, finally visible. The invisible rules of your family are not your fault, but they are your responsibility. Not to punish the people who passed them down. They were following their own inherited rules, doing the best they could with what they had, but to look at them clearly, to decide which ones serve the life you are actually trying to build, and to quietly, gently, begin to write some new ones. Rules like, it is safe to feel, I am worthy without performing, I can love my family and still become myself. New rules, written by you, for the first time. Visual, a blank page, a pen set down beside it, the invitation of an empty rulebook waiting to be written. Subscribe to Soul Decoded for weekly videos on healing, psychology, and soul work. And in the comments, what was one invisible rule in your family? Just naming it is already powerful. Visual, warm subscribe animation, end screen showing videos number 1, number 2, number 3.